in my experience, one of the primary responsibilities of a CEO is to transform its technology or product into something which is sellable and acceptable by the end customer. And that requires a very minute understanding of the end customer. Orbiba Robotics and its CEO Ilker seems to have this deep expertise. They understand organic farmers. I would never imagine selling deep tech to an organic farmer, but they have been doing it successfully. They have been able to successfully make it cost effective, and at the same time, they're using the subject matter expertise in the farming community to further deepen their research. It's an interesting business model, and it's also something that a lot of people can learn from. So let's take a deep dive. So Ilker, maybe the first question that I wanted to ask you is to get a good understanding of what is the technology that you are providing.
Yeah,
Is it only applicable to organic farmers or organic agriculture, or is it something that others can also use? So, can you give us an overview of what are the technologies that you provide to organic farming and agriculturalists?
sure I can. Orbiba Robotics. Orbiba stands for an organic bond. We want to establish an organic bond in between deep technology and the farmers. Actually, we want to provide the easiest regenerative farming experience in the world to our organic and regenerative farmers by enabling them with innovative, smart, small robots. Actually, now we have started focus organic farmers because their work is really labor intensive. As you know that in developed and developing countries like Turkey and Europe, they cannot find agricultural labor. So, and organic farms can't use some chemicals because
Yes.
it is forbidden. So, their much process are labor intensive, but they can find labor. So, as you know that they always say that robot will replace the people's works, but in agriculture it is not like that because you can find people force in order to process your works. That's why we have firstly started to organic farmers and regenerative farmers, and they are really very open to technology, unlike the conventional farmers, because they need to find a solution in order to progress.
Yeah.
So we have started with them, but we believe in that the conventional farmers will be converted into organic, regenerative, and ecological farmers as well in near future because it is not sustainable anymore. In
Yes.
the last 7 decades, we have broken the food system and ecosystem. Always said that there will be a hunger or something like that, but we see that it is not the amount of the food. Actually, it is related with the distribution of the food. So it is not right, and the Europe countries now decided to take some cautions, and they are trying to disseminate the non-chemical practices, and they are preparing regulation for that. In that term, we will be ready for conventional farmers because when the conventional farmers realize that, they will ask to organic farmers and regenerative farmers, and we will be the big partner of this small group.
Understood. And then that's a good vision and a good pain point match because organic farmers, you don't have to convince them. Of course, they don't use chemicals, so they don't get the benefit. But at the same time, there is a demographic demand. People do not want to eat now food that is mass produced using chemicals, fertilizers, whose harmful effects have been highlighted too much right now. Right? So everybody is moving towards organic farming, whether it is Europe, North America, or Asia also. I mean, everybody is moving towards organic farming. So it's one of the good spaces to be in providing technological support. Now, Ilker, I wanted to ask you what stages of the agriculture are you providing your technology, and more importantly, what's the innovative part about it? Because I mean, when hear about agricultural robotics, it's something that has been there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
uh, there has been robotics for uh, preparing the soil. There has been robotics for IoT or sensors, which actually monitor the soil conditions and give you alerts. So there have been robotics at each space. So I wanted to understand what is the innovative part that you talk about, and I also wanted to understand what stages in the agricultural, from this preparation of soil to the produce, are you guys integrating your technology in?
Yeah, that's a good question because I have underlined that there are lots of problems because last 7 decades we have widely made farming and we have harmed our environment as well. There are lots of problems, but we have focused firstly the wheat management. As you know, that wheats are competing with the crops in order to
Yes.
reach minerals and the water, and they are wild and they are very strong.
Yes.
So the farmer have to protect their crops. But as I said that in organic farming, you have labor intensive works, and we know the decrease of the agricultural labor force. Uh, but there is another problem. If you don't have a labor force, so you have to choose automation, right?
Yes.
And these automation initial costs are really very expensive.
Yes.
And when we look at the United Nations Food and Organization reports, it says that the 94 percentage of the farms has less than 5 hectares.
Oh wow.
So they are small farmers, they are family
Very
farmers.
small farms.
So, for example, when we look at our competitors, they are already in the field. Their price are beginning from 50, $50,000 to $3 million.
Wow.
So for a small farmer, this kind of only for wheat management, this kind of investment is not feasible.
Not
So
at all.
they don't have labor, and
Yes.
also they don't have
The capital.
access to the technology as well.
Yes.
So this is the main thing that we are differentiating from our competitors because we are trying to develop a robot that has deep technology, everything in that, and we want to make it affordable. We want to make it accessible to the small farmers as well. For example, when we look at our competitors, they are expensive and they are uh, they are choosing they are choosing to rent their robots.
Mm-hmm.
But for small farmers, they don't want to rent it because the operational cost is really
Yes.
huge. You have to take your big boy robot and carry it to the field, and there
Yes.
is only 5 acres, so 5 acres. So it is not feasible for them as well. So we are trying to just access these small farmers as well. But it doesn't mean that we will not work with the big farmers as well. This is what we are differentiating from that. So we are producing small robot platforms.
Ah.
These robot platforms can work swarm functionality, and it has also advanced AI
Mm-hmm.
capabilities. And it can. This is the second thing. We have an advanced AI, not primitive AI. For example, our competitor says that if it is a broccoli or not. If it is not, they destroy what it is. But we are trying to understand what wheat it is, and we are trying to understand the soil. We are trying to understand the crop, and we are looking for the relation in between them. If a weed is helpful for the crop,
Mm-hmm.
for example, if a weed is calling a host, an insect, and this insect is the predator of one of the insects, harmful insect of the crop,
Yes.
so our artificial intelligence can decide that I will keep these weeds in the field in that proportion.
Wow.
So this is what we are differentiating, and we are trying to create an farm assistant.
Yes.
It will always renew its insights, and it will be customized. It will give customized insight. Even your neighbors, you are growing different type of crops, and your neighbors, maybe the insights of these two farms will be different in the time.
Yes.
So
Yes.
these are the two main things.
The point that you were talking about, Ilker, I found it to be very interesting, especially the AI part where you talked about differentiating between a good weed and a bad weed, right? Because I
Yeah,
mean, when you
actually,
think weed,
all the
it's
weeds
always
are
bad.
good
Yes.
because
Yes.
all the weeds are good.
Oh wow.
Yeah, this is not right. They are not harmful actually. We are trying to uh, take their places. Actually, for example, tomato is a weed.
Oh wow. I thought it
Tomato
was
is
a
a
fruit.
weed. Pepper is a
Yeah.
weed actually. But we have turn them into our usage. But weeds are really helpful actually because they are providing the soil, they are supporting the soil, and they are also providing a biodiversity and ecosystem. So this biodiversity can increase the strength of your crops. This is what we were forgotten about that. We were
Yeah.
just saying that biodiversity is not important, but actually it is even important for our crops. As you know that there is a climate change
Yeah.
and our crops can't adapt it, but weeds can adapt it.
Yeah.
As you know that there is a saying that be like a weed, solve all the problems that you have faced, but nobody can put you in a row. So
Yeah.
weeds are really very strong. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to understand the biodiversity and ecosystem, and we are trying to make some insights and some strategies that will help our crops and help our environment as well.
Understood. Understood. That makes absolute sense. I think it's synergistic farming that you are supplying technology to as compared to only organic farming. And now, one of the things that I was able to observe is your deep understanding of what agriculture is, what is going to make good produce, so on and so forth. And that is a necessary knowledge to actually implement the right technology.
Yeah,
Otherwise, it's robots and it's agriculture, and you just mix them. But if you have the knowledge, the robots are also going to be good, the agriculture is also going to be good. Right? Now, then there is also something that you talked about, that it is not about the farm that you're trying to help using your technology, it is also the neighboring farm, their profiles, soil profiles, the type of crops that are growing, because ultimately it's not a one time thing. I mean, once the produce is over, you have to use that soil again for another crop, then another crop, right? So, maintaining the health of the soil so that it keeps on regenerating its nutrient profile and then being able to produce something equally good. That's also very important. So, having an outlook of what is going to be the future crop is also very good if you put that in AI. So, you need a lot of knowledge, which clearly you guys seem to have accumulated. You need AI to actually keep this knowledge and give you suggestions as to what and what not to do. And then you need tech and manufacturing expertise to put all of these things together into
yeah,
robots. And you also want to be cheap. How are these three things aligning with the lower cost part? That's what I wanted to understand, because
yeah.
yeah.
This is the another innovative side of us. Actually, we call our deep tech startup, and one of the deep tech side is our artificial intelligence side because nobody has tried to understand the biodiversity till now. This is one of the side. The other side is, for example, I really want to see what is not visible to us. Actually,
Yes.
as you know, that multispectral sensors, there are
Yes.
wave, and we only can see the 400 and 700 microns, but we can see the gamma and
Infra.
other lights. For example, we have to use a multispectral sensor camera, but I'm trying to produce my base robot 500 $5,500, but these hyperspectral cameras are $4,000 or something like that. So we are
Yes.
trying to take a one multispectral sensor and one basic story camera, and we are trying to make it to give what we want actually. So this is another research and development side because
Got it.
I have to make it cheap, but I have to make it work it properly.
For the business.
Or
Yes.
for example, I have to give some insight in terms of location, and it should be precise. So I have to use some real-time kinematics, but
Yes.
they are really very expensive. So I
Yes.
have to find another way how we want to make farm speak with the farmer.
Yes.
So when the farm is speaking, they should show the exact location. So in order to make it happen, we are making research and development. So and we are trying to make it happen in a cheap way. So this is the differentiating what in terms of technology. So we have a really good team in different disciplines and expertise, and we have also really good consultants. For example, now we are in Yıldız Technical University Incubation Center, and they have give us a workshop, and we are. I'm right now in the workshop. I want
Oh
to
wow.
show you some. something about that. Maybe we can have a right. For example, this is our robot here.
What does
So
it do? Yeah.
yeah, it is our base robot actually.
Okay.
I mean, we are supported in terms of what we are trying to do, and now we are also get in touch with the CERN because they have some new technology, and these some of the new technology is really aligned to our vision, and we are
Yeah.
trying to make it happen in the agriculture as well. So, in order to in terms of technology, we have in different disciplines we have engineers like mechatronic engineers, machine engineers, mechanical engineers, industrial engineers, computer engineers, geometric engineers, agriculture engineers, or other type of engineers we have, and we are trying to make it happen in that way. But on the
Yeah.
other hand, for example, as you said that you know what is agriculture or something like that, and why we choose organic farmers actually. When I go to the conventional farm and when I will say that I will keep some of the weeds, they really get crazy. We don't want to see the weeds, but when you talk with the organic farmers, they understand that. So
Yes.
from the beginning, we had formed. Firstly, we had formed a focus group with them, and we are making a robot. Actually, we are trying to co-design and co-produce with them. Now we are preparing our 10 beta robots in Turkey, and we have chosen 10 different type of farmers, and
Hmm.
they will use it and they will give feedback to us as well. So
Wow.
this is really very important. That's why we know we are learning from them. I am
Yeah.
an engineer background, but we are working with them and we are understanding. For example, we said that let's pull out the with a Delta robot arm. They said no, keep the root in the soil, and we say
Yeah.
that why? Because they keep the carbons.
Yeah.
It is really interesting. These farmers are saying to us. I mean, they are like
Yeah.
scientists. So that's why we want to focus firstly on that.
I think you have got your process right. I think whether it is agriculture or any other field, you have to listen to the customers because they really know a lot of things. And I think you are leveraging that to improve the technology and also make it less expensive. So that's a very good idea. I think and then I also really liked the way you framed it that you want the farms to talk to the farmers and to you guys. I think that's a really good way to put this technology in a single line. Also, I think when I was hearing you, there are two things that I see. You also have customer support. You found the right customers who will actually co-design and co-develop the technology with you and help you with that. So, and you also found the right i- internal team and an external support. So you
Yeah.
have tie-ups with universities. They are also helping you. They are giving you access to research and technology that they may have been doing for a lot of time. Also, that is also apparent on your website when I looked at the investment. I mean, usually companies have one major investment and a couple of other, but I see support from everywhere, whether it is
Yeah.
technology, whether it
Yeah.
is consultation, whether it is, I mean, there must be six or
That's a
seven or
good
eight.
point.
Yeah. So I think, I mean, I have talked to a lot of startups, but this ecosystem of support is something that is differentiating your startup as compared to anybody else. And I think, I mean, that's a great thing to have. Uh,
Actually, because it's a good point that you have underlined. Why we are having lots of grants.
yes.
Actually, when you start a startup, that is a effect. I mean, the post effect for the humanity and sustainability. The private investors doesn't want to invest it.
Yes.
They want to invest in blockchain, games, financial, the
Yes.
very fast return on investment. They want to do that, but the governments and the other organizations see that reality, and in order to sustain our lives, they see that the startup is doing good and it's helpful for the humanity, and they support us. But now we in the Europe and Turkey as well, now it's started that if you invest in a startup that helps the humanity, it is also very lucrative. I mean,
Yeah.
very positive. They began to see that it is more generating, it's generating more
Revenue.
lucrative than other game or something like that. So we are trying to disseminate this information to around the private VCs and angel investors. This is why
I
you
mean,
see lots of grants
yeah.
because,
Yeah.
as I said, when you go to the government or European Union, they support you. But when
Yes.
you go to the
Private
private
investors.
investor, they said that how many months you will get your
Yes.
product or something. I'm saying that I'm a deep tech. I have to make a research and development, but it is not so charming for them.
Yes. Yes. And I think that's a very interesting point because when I think government, of course, I understand that anything that is helping humanity, whether it is reducing poverty, increasing sustainability, or supporting it, governments will be interested or they are obligated to support you, right? But I mean, you are the one who is a prime example of actually being able to use the government support and the non-profit support. But I have also talked to startups who have tried that and who have failed. So there are also a lot of bureaucracy barriers that you tend to cross before you get governmental support and organizational support. So I think it's a very fine balance. You were able to do it. Ultimately, when you want to grow big, private investors will ask that question because I mean their audiences. If I can get a profitable exit, I would want to invest in this. If I can get the profitable exit much more faster, I will give you much more money. I mean, so that's their mindset. But you are also right in the point that the world has changed. Sustainability is actually a focus. It is not a government thing. It is something which is a worldwide phenomenon,
Yeah,
which means anybody who is working there will find avenues to generate more profit, and that's why we will see more and more interest from the private investors. I think you have started it. A lot of more people will start that, about educating people that hey, I mean, it's not non-profit work that we are working on. We are also a business. We also look for profit, but at the same time, sustainability is a big problem that we need to invest into. So I think that's a very good way of figuring out the pitch to VCs and startups when you're scaling up and then you are in a
yeah.
business which is supporting humanity. I
Yeah,
like that.
because
Yeah.
for example, as you said that there are lots of bureaucratic process when you go to
Yes.
the grant. But you know, I'm a farmer son. My father or mother is not a businessman,
Yeah.
so I need money in order to
Yes.
progress and in order to accelerate my business. So I'm always saying that even in our Turkish startup ecosystem, I know it is very hard, but what we have choice then.
Yes.
We
And
should
that's
make it. We should,
yes.
if there is a grant, we should have to take it. We should have to try to take it. Especially if you are deep tech, you need lots of grants because,
Yes.
for example, we are now applying lots of European Union funding process. We are trying to be in the consortiums because research and development. I'm not making a application or something like that.
Yes.
I'm trying to, as we have talked that I'm trying to make a deep tech very cheap. So I have to make lots of research and development on that. So I need
Yes.
any money, and where it is not in Europe, in India, in America, it doesn't matter. If
Yes.
there are people that want to make an impact investment or make you want to an impact grant or something like that, I have to be there. So this is really very important in our team. Only one person is working on that. This is
Uh-huh.
really, really very important for us. The funding
Makes sense.
opportunities that
That
we are
makes a lot
searching
of sense.
always.
And I think, I mean, the drive and the confidence about getting investments for your R&D from anywhere feasible and possible, I think that is a drive that I have also seen in a lot of other founders. But sticking to that drive is something I think which people find difficult. I mean, because there is also, for every success that you get, there are 10 rejections that people in your position have to face, right? So that also is kind of a demotivating factor. But I think people will take lessons on how to stick to the positive part and let go
Yeah.
of the negative part after this conversation. I hope so. Also, I mean, there was another thing that came to my mind when I was listening to you, that there is the R&D that you are doing. It's not something that will only improve the technology and the innovation that you have. I think Anybody who has interest in agriculture, who are invested in agriculture, who are talking about agriculture, and who are trying to make agriculture in general better and the lives of farmer better. I mean, that knowledge and that R&D will be useful to all of them, right? And that's a
Yeah,
huge pile of knowledge and research that you're sitting on. Do
yeah.
you plan to leverage that at any point of time, that, hey, I mean, we can become agricultural consultants, we can become consultants to governments and to private bodies who are doing large scale farming?
Actually, this is a really good question. Actually, what we want to do is actually, as possible, as much possible as we want to make it open to the humanity. For example, I will produce lots of robots, but I can't be enough for the all of the farmers around the world. And there are now new farms are being created in the urban sites as well.
Yes.
So this knowledge should be shared, and
Yes.
this knowledge should be accessible as well.
Yes.
So we now we are planning to create an open source robot that just focus on the agriculture
Yeah.
agriculture problems. If you are a robotic lover or a AI lover, or you want to improve yourself in that area, we want to say that use your talents to solve
Yeah.
the agriculture problems, because we have lots of problems. So we are trying to make an open source platform as well for that. And by year, we are planning to share our knowledge uh, who want to be in the agriculture area.
I mean, not all the startup founders will be so generous as you in sharing their knowledge, because there is also. So I have been talking to founders where if they are doing something innovative, they want to also protect it, because some or the other way they will be able to leverage the technology in licensing. Like, I mean, to people where, or to geographies where you cannot penetrate at this point of time, or you would need more capital to penetrate, you may share your technology or license it and then get revenues out of there. But you are keeping it open source. Of course, keeping it open source has its own advantages, like you mentioned. AI lovers, robotic lovers, in general, agricultural lovers, I mean, they will try to improve that technology, and that's a benefit for all, for you, for them, for everybody who can use that. Uh, but I wanted to ask you, what's your opinion here? Because the AI part is where you have a lot of things which might be proprietary, which might be something that you guys have generated in your R&D teams. Has that feeling never come that, hey, I mean, maybe I should keep this patented, even though I share it with everybody else, there should be some protection granted to me?
Yeah, actually, we want to protect our findings and
Mhm.
our explorations. That's true. But we want to share them as well in the sense of, as you said, that with the license or other thing, even
Yes.
we can choose some of them without free of charge license or something like that, or symbolic license. But especially for the AI side, for example, we were in a deep tech acceleration program in Europe. It's a funding
Mhm.
program. I had a mentor there, and he said that, Ilker, you are an artificial intelligence startup. And I said that, yes, I know that I am an artificial intelligence startup. And he said that, why you are working on the robots? Because you can buy this robot in different some, and he was right as well. But I said that when you go to the farmer and say them, I will give you lots of insight with my super artificial intelligence, they don't care it, because they have a physical problem, and they can,
Yes.
if they
Yes.
can manage the bits, they lost 100% of their
Yes.
crops. So there is nothing to give an insight for these crops.
Yes. Yes.
So firstly, we have to be mechanically, and we
Yes.
have to solve some mechanic physical problems, and
Yes.
then our robot is ready to, because our robot has lots of sensors, and it will collect lots of data and give the insights. And I believe that my competitor in the future will use our AI as well, because I can't be everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's a good problem to have. I mean, if competitors are using your technology, it's a good problem to have, because that validates all of your work and all of your research in the past and your strategy, most importantly, that you read the landscape right, you read the customer's pain points right, and that is why people are adopting or trying to imitate you. So I mean that's a good thing to have, and hopefully I mean that also gives you some benefits in the sense that people innovate more keeping your base technology and using your base technology. So that's great to have. So far what I have heard is things that are very positive to hear. But Ilker, I mean, I understand. I mean, the journey is going to be difficult. It has
Yeah.
been difficult, right? So, I mean, have there been points where you said that, hey, I mean, this is not worth it, or I mean, this is taking too much time, or it will take a lot of time to gain profitability? I mean, has there been instances like that, and how have you overcome them?
As you said that it's really very hard. I was in a professional life. I was working more than 15 years in technology and software development organization in different scales, national and international organizations. Because I feel very happy. Till I started this startup, it is very difficult, but I feel really very happy, and I'm just focusing on the process.
Yeah.
So this process, yes, there are lots of challenges, and I'm talking with my team and saying that we will have lots of problem, and this is good because it means that we have lots of opportunity to improve ourselves, and we are not trying to find something very new special because the humanity knowledge is really very, and some of the problems are faced with 10 years ago and they have solved the problem and something like that. So but I never thought that we will be fail. We can fail, no problem,
Mhm.
but the failing is actually something that if you give up, it means that you have failed. Me and my team, we don't choose to give up even in the bad conditions that we had. We are trying to move forward. I mean, so for example, most of the questions that what is the best part of your startup, I say
Yeah.
always my team, because I have the talented team, but something is different with my team because they believe some a vision and a purpose. They have generated a purpose with themselves, and they said that we want to realize the dreams that will help planet and its hosts. So they believe a purpose, and this is the most important thing in my startup, I guess.
Yeah.
So I'm really very trust in my team and the purpose. So we are really very happy, even we are in the difficult situations.
I mean, if there was a spirit of the startup award, I mean, it would go to you for your optimism. And I think you touched upon a very, very crucial point, and that is not just the team, but also the vision. Because teams may be good, they will support you. They are people, humans like us. They believe in the leader rather than in the vision. But when there is a vision, it changes everything. When there is a vision, it's not just you they will look up to, but it is also the vision, right? And that's the differentiating part. But it is also very difficult to set a vision. And in your experience, maybe you, I mean, was it difficult? Let me ask you, was it difficult to set a vision, or that came naturally to you and to the startup?
Actually, yeah, it's really very right. This point is really very important. To form a vision is really very difficult. You can put a vision actually, but we had, as you said, that naturally we had a vision because we believe in that if our robots are used in the field, then we will cut the chemicals usage, and this
Hmm.
chemical usage, if we cut that, the environment will be have positive benefits. People will be have positive benefits. It comes naturally actually, but the most important thing in the vision is if you can't disseminate
Yes.
in the organization, even you are a small startup or a big organization, it is
Yeah.
useless. It doesn't mean anything. I mean,
Yes, it
but
does.
when you are successful to disseminating the vision, then your teams are becoming a co-founders actually because
Yes.
they are owning it, and they said that yes, this is our vision and we are trying to do something good, and
Yes.
they are working and they are contributing more than their tasks. So this is really very important, and I believe that we have succeed it in with my team.
Yes.
For example, if we will hire someone, for example, I like the new candidate, but I
Hmm.
have to say that my team have to accept you. So you will given a task, and you will make this presentation to the team. The team will introduce themselves to you. You will introduce and present your tasks. And after that, you will leave the meeting and they will decide. If they say no, and sometimes they say no, so I can take you in. So this is really very important. And I'm giving some tips. Don't do that because I know my team
Yeah.
feelings. So
Yeah.
this is really very important. When we did that, and the new fresher is not like a new fresher because
Yeah.
he or she feels that I am accepted, not
Yes.
by the founder, but the team
Yes.
accept me. So it is really very nice. I mean,
I
the
mean, that's a good
vision,
hiring strategy too.
yeah, vision should be understood by every team
Yes.
member in the organization.
Yes. And it's a difficult job. Kudos on that. I think if everybody understands the vision, you don't have to at least think from a perspective or a support that you will get from the team. That's automatic. They are doing the same thing. They want the same thing as you want, right? Everything else becomes a byproduct or secondary. Also, I mean, the process that you talked about, integrating new people into the team, the acceptance that they get from the team who's already working. I think that's a good hiring tip for startups, and for people who are less than 50 people right now, or less than 100
Yeah,
people. We have tried, so now Gravy is 500 people, the company that I represent, and I used to take a similar process, uh, but then it failed at scale because I mean,
yeah.
when we were growing up, I
Actually,
mean, it's very
I'm also thinking that if we get more, if we scale up, how we will, I will manage
yes,
that. Maybe team by team. I mean, I don't know.
maybe,
Maybe the
yeah,
small teams will do that, not the
yeah,
full organization.
yes,
It's not
that.
possible, but the small team maybe can
Yeah.
continue on that.
I learned. So I was talking to a patent attorney in US, and he owns a firm. He was sitting in Los Angeles, and I was sitting in his office, and we were discussing this same problem of hiring. And he mentioned a very, very similar method that you talked about. That, yeah, I mean, it's a whole day process. Then the person comes in, we talk to them as partners, and then we throw them in a conference with our team members. They take them out to lunch, they eat together and everything, and then when the day ends, that's when they decide whether they liked working with that person, whether they liked spending time with the person, so on and so forth. So it's a very similar process, yeah. And I think, I mean, it's an excellent process. Only if you could figure out how to scale this, that would be another startup
Yeah,
idea for you. Yeah, but R&D is something. Constant research is something that we need to keep on doing, and even as a startup founder, you have to keep on researching not just about the customer problem, but also the growth and the internal things that are required to actually take you up from stage A to stage B, where it will be much bigger. You may not have so much time to actually talk to the team and be as close to them as you are right now. So those are things that will come up in their time. But very good talking to you, Ilker. I think I learned a lot, and more than that, everybody likes to talk to a happy person.
yeah.
Your
And
happiness.
it
Yeah,
was really nice to talk with you. I hope we can continue apart from this progress. We can continue to get in touch and talk.
absolutely.
Even if you will be in Istanbul or something like that, we can meet face to face.
I keep on coming to Istanbul, so
Oh, that's great.
maybe I'll give you a ping as soon as I'm there. And if you have time, if you're not busy solving the world problems, we may sit together for a Turkish coffee.
Oh, that's great. Here is my number. Just text me via WhatsApp. So,
Sure, absolutely. Thank you, Ilker. Thank you very much for your time.
you are
Pleasure talking to
welcome.
you.
You
And
are
we'll keep
welcome.
you updated on the article and the video. You can share it anywhere if you want.
Okay, okay, that's great.
Thank you.